Why should a professional chef consider sous vide cooking?
Even if you don't cook this way now, if you have a brunch service where you're cooking eggs, that alone is worth the cost of buying this unit. Just how easy it's going to be never having an egg that's too cold or overcooked. Everyone buys one, and then all of a sudden they buy 2 and 3 just because they find that it saves them so much time and effort and makes everything they do more repeatable, which is in the end better for the guest and better for the cook. What I like about this particular machine, this new one, it's a lot more rugged, looks a lot more kitchen-friendly than the older ones. It doesn't look like a piece of lab equipment anymore. It takes up less space in the bath. And also, the ones that are designed for labs, they tend not to heat up as quickly because, they're not designed for that. Whereas this one, even though it's the same amount of power, it's going to get to temperature faster. That's really what I like about this as opposed to the circulators that we've been using now for years.
There's another great advantage with it that I think every chef should care about, and that's consistency. It's probably the hardest thing to achieve in a restaurant is consistency, but with a sous vide professional, you can easily achieve it.
What are some of the typical misunderstandings that chefs have that are new to sous vide cooking?
I think one of the misconceptions is that they think it's much harder to learn than it actually is, and also that the food is not going to be as good as with their normal cooking techniques. They're not going to have as much flavor, which both are very untrue.
I think another misconception is that you're no longer connected to your food, that you don't care about your products anymore. And it's the furthest thing from the truth. You use this technique because you care about your products. You're trying to preserve the taste, texture, flavor of your products. And the other misconception people have is they don't understand that you can cook something for a long period of time and it won't overcook. They don't understand that what they're normally doing is cooking with temperatures and changing the temperature to make something cook faster, and you just can't do that with this kind of a technique.
What are some of the important benefits in a restaurant using sous vide as a technique?
I think one of the greatest benefits is actually you put the responsibility on the chef. And you take the responsibility out of the hands of some of the cooks, and you'll have a lot less mistakes happening because someone forgot to turn the steak or someone forgot to take it out of the oven. It's sitting there in the water, but it's not going to overcook.
Isn't there also a higher yield when cooking protein sous vide?
Absolutely, there is. You have a lot less weight loss in the product when you cook it in a water bath because there's nothing really going to evaporate from it like you would do in an oven.
Now, once I've got all the equipment for a typical professional kitchen to do sous vide, one other tool I'll typically get would be a chamber vacuum sealer. What are some of the other things that you can use that chamber vacuum sealer for?
I mean, you can do some really fun stuff with it. You can do flash pickling. You can pickle something within minutes. You can infuse things. But one of the things that people don't think about as much is like, for example, you make a puree or you make a sauce in a blender and you add a lot of air. You can actually take all that air out by using a vacuum machine, which is a great, great benefit. So you're in more control, and that would benefit you, and it would ultimately benefit the guests as well.